were you even cooler under your mask?
I was just cool the whole time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world, Spider-Punk has finally gotten a new comic book, and it's got one glaring issue. Just one. I mean, the artwork's great. The team we all love is back together. But they changed Hobie's look. Not his costume. Well, his costume a little bit. He has a front logo now. I don't really hate it. I actually kind of like it. I think his suit looked a little weird without a front logo. Some people said they didn't like it. Personally, I think it looks cool. It's not even close to the most drastic change they did for the character, so I don't even know how people were commenting on this before they commented on the fact that Hobie's hairstyle is different now. Fam. We lost big time, y'all. We lost so bad. The Killmonger hair, bro. The Killmonger hair. Why? There just has to be. Do these people who are designing these characters not realize that black people have other hairstyles? I'm black. Do they think my hair looks like that? I have an afro. Like that, you give him he had an afro. What's wrong with his afro? He's got two I can't, yo. Our boy started off looking pretty degular, just like a regular punk dude. Then we got this masterpiece of a design in Across the Spider-Verse. He's quite literally beautiful. I truly don't think I've ever loved the character design more than the Across the Spider-Verse version of Spider-Punk. Holy moly. Spider-Punk was so godlike in Across the Spider-Verse, I changed my YouTube name from Spider-Manias to Spider-Dunk because I wanted it to rhyme with Spider-Punk. Like, that's why the name of the channel is Spider-Dunk. It's literally because of this design. I thought it was so freaking cool, I just made my channel after it. This design is it. This is the design. I thought they would slowly move to this design in the comic books, similarly to how they stated Spider-Man India would eventually get more of his updated look from Across the Spider-Verse. But this new direction for the design is nowhere near the realm of Spider-Verse. But it did have me thinking about all the differences between comic Spider-Punk and his movie adaptation. Let's talk about possibly my favorite Spider-Man variant, Spider-Punk. In the comics, Spider-Punk appears in the very first Spider-Verse, where he aids the team in stopping the Inheritors. He really doesn't do that much in this event. There's just so many spiders, there's really not enough time for him to, shine. But he does get his own pre-Spider-Verse story. It's about him and his band of punk rock and roll heads trying to fight back against the tyrannical Norman Osborn, who's also bonded with Venom. Spider-Punk and his band go to war with Norman. To win the fight, Spider-Punk and his band unleash a massive speaker and they jam the hell out. This weakens Norman symbiote a lot, and then Spider-Punk would go on to decapitate the dude. Yeah, he literally just smashes his head with the guitar. That's Punk. Freaking raw as hell. Jed MacKay's epilogue for Spider-Punk is probably the best comic he's ever going to be in, or he's ever been in. Spider-Punk minis, they're fun, but for some reason the stakes just don't feel nearly as high as this one epilogue. Maybe it's the art? I don't know. I do like the art in the minis, I do like how it's super stylized, but the art in this epilogue goes crazy, man. It's stylized in itself, and it's awesome. Punk himself also just feels way more raw. He calls himself a radioactive suicide machine. When Norman was badly beaten and barely alive, he was crawling towards Spider-Punk saying, "It's going to take more than 3 quarts to stop me." Spider-Punk is literally there egging him on like, come on. And then he freaking decapitates him with a guitar and says, "Is that all you got?" His last page of the book reads like this: "That was the day we beat the cops. That was the day we beat the president. That was the day we took back America from the ones who would crush us under their boot." At no other point in comic history has Hobie written this raw, ever. I don't know if Spider-Verse Hobie even reaches this level of rawness. It's only like 6 or 7 pages, so if you like Spider-Punk, you need to read this epilogue. Spider-Punk would return in his own mini, and we learn way more about the universe he's from 138. The Spider-Man gets more fleshed out. We've got actual definitive members now. Captain Anarchy, Riri Williams, there's a Hulk, Miss Marvel, there's a Daredevil. It's a fun group. The art is like super duper stylized, and it makes it feel special and unique without it being distracting or taking away from the story. The mini is really solid. We meet Spider-Punk's version of Kraven, who's just, well, more of a goon and less about the hunt. It also turns out that Norman survived the guitar decapitation. I don't know how, but he did it. And he goes on to try and reform his empire and take a stronghold over America again. So the band sets out on a tour so they can meet up with Norman in DC and they can stop him. But they get captured. Right as they're about to be publicly executed, Hulk and Daredevil jump in, and it's good guys versus bad guys. After a long, hard fight, Norman lasers down the band, but Spider-Punk refuses to give up. Riri connects Spider-Punk to all of Norman's goons, and Hobie just rocks the hell out on his guitar. He hits the craziest riff, and yet the gang wins, everybody. All of the bad guys are just zooped out of their mind. They can't really do much now, and good guys win. Woo! And now we have the current run. We've seen Lizard from this universe. We've seen Doc Ock as well from this universe. We've even seen the Black Panthers from this universe. Because there's two. T'Challa and Shuri both share the mantle in 138. But we also finally get to see his actual origin story. Like, we get to see him get bit by a radioactive spider. And it's like super radioactive. And his first thing he does with the powers they show us is him beating up a cop. He's Spider-Punk, people. The artwork again in this run is peak. Especially in action. Spider-Punk and Ms. Marvel do a fastball special, and it looks phenomenal. But I don't know about Hobie's look, man. Why do they have to give every black character the same haircut? I think they thought they were doing something new when they gave him, like, bleached blonde with pink frosted tips, but, like, it's still the same hairstyle. You could have just given him a new hairstyle and still done the blonde and pink if you wanted to. But giving him this generic hairstyle and then just changing the colors of it doesn't make it any less generic. It seems like you wanted to try something new and you didn't know what to do when there's literally an infinite amount of options for hairstyles you could have chosen from. Overall, in the comics, Hobie Brown is very anti-establishment, but he's a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. He's always trying to keep his team in good spirits. Then you have Hobie Brown from Spider-Verse, and man, he's kind of not like that. He's a bit like that. I mean, he's incredibly anti-establishment, but Spider-Punk is really anti-everything.
Not playing shows, antagonizing fascists, staging unpermitted political action / performing art pieces, or having a laugh at the pub with a man them. I'm not a role model.
He really gets the punk movement to its core, and it's exemplified in the few times he does talk. He says various quips about capitalism, talks about hating the AM and the PM. It's like a double entendre.
I hate the AM, I hate the PM.
He ain't give a damn when they brought up Captain Stacy's death.
Hey, what of it?
This man is different. He also has like a direct relationship with Miles. Spider-Punk takes a big liking to Miles Morales in Spider-Verse. Hobie's always there for him, whether he's teasing Miles, giving him life advice, cheering him on, or literally helping him escape the Spider Society. Hobie Brown is always there for Miles Morales and across the Spider-Verse. Every step of the way, pretty much. He's even there for Gwen, too. Way before he even knew he would need to steal the technology, he steals the technology needed to create a dimensional hopper. He then gives this technology to Gwen when she's kicked out of the Spider Society. This man has such a massive heart, and he's just so freaking cool. Like the smirk, the constant changing in design because he hates consistency. God, this character freaking rocks. The movie counterpart differs from the comics a bit. For starters, he's way cooler in the movie. And I don't mean this as like a diss to comic Spider-Punk, but in the comics, Spider-Punk is trying to get the band to call themselves like the Spider Band, and everyone's just like, dude, that's not going to catch on. Like, he's just like not nearly as cool. He's cool, but he's not nearly as cool. He gets shut down by his friends sometimes, you know? He'll offer something up, they're like, dude, that's a dumb idea. And this is literally something I could never see happening to the movie version of Spider-Punk. If the movie version of Spider-Punk said, we're the Spider Band, everyone in the movie finna say, yup, you right. Because they love this man. He was coolness personified. Spider-Punk in the comics isn't given much relation to the other spiders, which makes sense because he's not always with them. But it's weird that in Spider-Verse events, he really doesn't have really any characterization. In the movie, Spider-Punk shines brighter than every other character in the entire movie, and he has a fraction of the screen time as most of them. Like, the character does so much more with so much less.
Apart from having a great name.
Go home, machine.
What did I say? Eh?
Lastly, the main difference between the movie and the comic is Hobie Brown's look. The original comics look is pretty solid. The current look is pretty trash. But the movie look? This is peak. I'll say it. I don't think there's a better character design ever. I just don't. This is pure beauty. He's like sculpted by the gods. All in all, Spider-Punk's current story is still banging regardless of how Hobie looks under the mask. I'm going to keep reading it, and you should too, because Spider-Punk rocks, man, and we should support this dude as much as we can. He needs more content. Thank you guys for watching. Dunk out. Peace!